If you can walk the walk, don't talk the talk. If you can walk the walk, don't talk the talk. If you can walk the walk, don't talk the talk. If you can walk the walk, don't talk the talk. If you can walk the walk.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Walk the Talk. Showtime. Shawn Porter here with none other than none other than the CEO of the Undisputed video game, Ash. Appreciate you for joining me, my man.
No, pleasure to have you here, Shawn.
I'm here at Steel City Interactive Studios. I got to do this for me, and I feel like this is something that the gaming community, the Undisputed gaming community, they need this. I feel like what I want to do is put things into perspective for you guys. And I feel that, like I told you last night, being authentic, being real, being transparent, I feel has always been what gets the job done. And, it says, the truth will set you free, You guys launched this game in 2024, right? Officially launched this game in 2024. Mm-hmm. You started working on the game in 2020, around the pandemic, right?
Correct.
When were the first thoughts of creating a video game? When did that come into play?
So myself and my brother, we've always been boxing fans, gamers, and we were fans of like all the previous boxing games that came out. And over time we always kind of said, like, damn, why is there no boxing game coming out, right? Mm-hmm. And like literally one evening, my eldest brother asked if he gave me a call, and he was like, "Look, let's just try something. Let's just try making something really small and simple, right? Yeah. We've never, we're not game developers, so let's see what we can do." And I was like, "Okay, sure, we can start it off as a little, side hobby." And I've always had an interest in these kind of things, learning new skills, and so we from that moment we just got stuck in, and it completely consumed me. Like the moment I could like see literally from a beginning of how do you make a ball move from that side of the screen to the other side.
Yeah. And
a little bit of code, and you see it happening, and then you think, oh, okay, what if I replace that ball with a human character?
Wow.
And then that led to the next thing. Okay, how do I make the arm punch?
Yeah.
Like how do we do the animation? So, that early period, myself and my brother, we basically self-taught, the entire piece, until we created our own concept.
Wow. You guys, you specifically were just a gamer. Like it was, obviously you got your day job, but you've always loved video games since you were a kid.
Yeah.
I saw the Atari downstairs. I saw the Sega Saturn. I've seen every known to man console in this building, and they all belong to you. So you are a gamer, and then a big boxing fan, humongous boxing fan, and wanting a new fight night to come out, where's this game? I need this in my life. And then your brother, who's slightly older than you, just says, "Hey, let's I found this little software. Let's check this out." And it just kind of grew.
Yeah, I mean, it was all organic, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a passion project. Like, we got stuck into it, and it just didn't feel like work,
Yeah.
That's the thing for me, where, I'd spend literally 10, 12 hours like coding, animating, doing all these kind of things, and it just didn't feel like work. And I was like, this is definitely it.
And you just felt like we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been like an absolute like nightmare at times, right?
Yeah.
Where, you're thinking, this is insane, like what are we trying to kind of pull off here?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a part of a journey where like getting the boxing industry involved and having backing from you guys has been like, it kind of drove us on even more.
Yeah.
Where we had a fighter come and see what we were doing, and then seeing their enthusiasm and like, oh wow, this could be pretty huge.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of spurred us on even more. But then when we got the likes of, the W.B.G.C, the Ring Magazine, all these guys coming on board and getting behind us, it really gave us that extra motivation when things were getting tough on many occasions. But we just kind of drove through all of that.
At what point did y'all say, okay, we need to hire some people for this?
I think it was at the moment where, actually we didn't make that decision. Like I didn't make that decision myself. Like
Okay.
I always knew that, if we did this right, then potentially this could be huge in terms of everyone like getting on board.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to rush anything. Like for me, it was always about protecting the integrity of what we want to do here, which was making a realistic boxing game. And I wasn't really going to let anything kind of get in the way of that or even compromise in that space. But what happened was we had like a local boxing firm called Empire Tape, and they supply the hand wraps for like every fighter in the UK and even some in the US as well. And through Ryan Rhodes, who was like one of the first people to join the studio from the boxing world, he introduced me to a guy called Dean Sheriff, and it was actually him who was like, "This looks like pretty amazing what you're doing here."
Yeah.
And at this point, there was me, my brothers, and a close friend, and they're like, "How much would it take to kind of like expand and build this out into like a bigger game with more people?"
Yeah.
Because up until that point, it was all self-funded everything, and we were going for 7-8 months, and so he invested, and that's kind of what got the wheels in motion, because at that point, like, this was our own project. Like I wasn't going to go and ask anybody for any funds, anything like that, because it was all our own thing, and I was comfortable with that, right? Because it's just my responsibility then, right?
There it is.
So when he said that, I was like, hey, look, I ain't too comfortable about taking your money about or investing, like, because this is just something that we're doing as a passion. But I think he saw, obviously back then, 5 years ago, that he kind of saw something that he thought, yeah, this could be pretty big, and he jumped in, and that's what we started hiring our first staff, and it snowballed from there. The likes of many people in boxing now getting behind the game.
It's crazy to know it's been 5 years already.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's probably felt like more like 20 for me.
Yeah.
But it has, in other ways, it has flown past. But yeah, just going back to the support we've had, like even with the Riyadh Season guys, and His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh getting behind Undisputed. It's I guess it's surreal at times.
Let's even go back a little bit before that, because I've done a couple of things where I've had to start from the ground up, right? And I know what it feels to have those moments where you feel like it's not gonna work out. I know what it feels like to have those moments where it's like I'm just done, and then something happens, and it's like it's always working out, and it's always there's something that's gonna push you forward. When you started creating a boxing video game, you didn't know any boxers.
No.
So kind of take us through that whole process of getting Shawn Porter and getting Terrence Crawford and getting Canelo Alvarez and Roy Jones Jr.
I mean that's been an amazing journey in itself as a boxing fan. Like forget the game element of it for a moment. Like just me even meeting you guys, even sat down here, talking to you, like spending years watching you fight on the TV. It's that on its own is pretty mind blowing for me, and I think it always will be, just as a boxing fan. But yeah, I think the way it grew organically was I had a friend who I knew had contact with Ryan Rhodes, and Ryan being a Sheffield legend. We give him grief about losing to Canelo, but I guess that's not
Canelo.
That's not exactly. But nevertheless, we still give him grief over that.
Yeah,
right. So I contacted my friend. I was like, look, Ryan, I'm doing this project here. Can you connect us? And Ryan got involved. Saw what I was building, and he was like, yeah, I'd definitely love to be involved. So then Ryan kind of opened the doors to the likes of, I mentioned, Dean Sheriff at Empire, but then other fighters like Johnny Nelson, who's helped me from the start as well. So then, like one person led to another, and here's the thing that I've learned about boxing, even you as a fan, where obviously, you guys haven't always had the best relationships with, managers who have maybe not treated fighters fairly, and even with promoters, doing things they shouldn't be doing. So I think with me, when fighters, managers, agents, when everybody saw that my only agenda was to make a boxing game, and I was always true to my word in any agreement, anything that I've ever done. I mean, I've licensed like over 360 entities.
Wow.
Right? That's fighters, managers, brands. And like with every single one of them, like I've always stuck to my word.
Yeah.
Because I know boxing's a very small world as well. So I think when people knew that I was genuine in terms of what we're trying to accomplish here, it generally made things easy.
Yeah.
Like even speaking to the likes of Terence and Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, like they've all been absolutely amazing, because I think in their eyes, and I don't know if you feel this way or not, but it was almost like for them like a breath of fresh air, where it's not someone trying to come and use them in some way or trying to swindle them out of anything like that.
Yeah.
So for us, we're just straight-laced people. We've been raised very simple. Treat other people how you like yourself to be treated.
Yeah.
And that's how we've built the studio.
We don't have to go into the actual business, but I feel it's vital for people to understand that there's a boxing video game here. And while you all are waiting on this update, that to happen, why isn't this working, and so on and so forth, try to tread the storyline of what it takes to get one fighter. You said over 300 entities, right, in this game. I'm gonna lead you there, right? But I want you to try to kind of explain to people loosely what it takes to get a fighter in this game. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I'm one of over 300. Someone came to my house. Well, actually, somebody called me. Hey, we want to talk to you about being in this video game. Dad looks at me, it's a video game. Like, oh, get an email. This is, we want to meet with you, we meet with someone. I'm not going to say what it is, but we meet with someone, we have a conversation, and you guys show me a contract for me, okay? I looked at the contract, my dad looked at the contract, we like what we saw, we made a couple of addendums based on what I felt I could contribute to the game. You did that over 300 times, right?
Yep.
That's why we haven't had a game in the past.
Correct.
There hasn't been anyone who was willing and able to make the connections, do the groundwork, and get everything going to get a game to be produced.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're absolutely right. I think because boxing is the only, sport where there isn't an overarching entity, right, that controls everybody's rights,
Right.
and it just makes it like a simple one-stop shop to get everything done.
Right.
But just our pure love for the sport,
Yeah.
like, it was like, there's got to be a boxing game. And here's the thing, my own mentality was this, right? In those early days, I thought, you know what, if I can't sign the likes of Shawn Porter or Canelo or Ali or all these names, like, I kind of thought, well, if the big multi-billion-pound studios aren't doing this, then like, who the hell am I to say, oh, damn, I wasn't able to do this.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into it without any expectations, right? I was like, I'll give it my best shot. If it takes me 3 years to do it, then I'll spend 3 years grafting and getting these fighters signed, if that's what it takes. And for larger studios, that's a lot of time, money, and effort that they could be spending elsewhere. That's going to make them more money. But for me, this was never a venture or a project that was about, how much revenue or money we're going to make from this. It was always purely about, we want to make a boxing game. Me as a fan, like, I want to fight for the real belts.
Right.
The W.B.Cs, the WBOs, the IBFs, right? I want to, have real fighters. Like, I was tired of seeing other games have all the licenses and everything, right? And boxing, even previous boxing games, never had all the licensed fighters and all the governing bodies and everything else, right? So for me, that was kind of like the motivating factor. And in terms of, making sure the deals worked for the fighters. Like for me again, knowing how boxing works, and once you've retired, it's like, fighters are kind of just left out there in the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
So just being able to be part of something that's able to give back to the fighters themselves after
Sure.
they've retired, their families, it was something that like I 100% like got behind and did.
Yeah.
And if we were a corporate, suits run company, we'd look at fighters, right? And we would basically say, oh, do we really want this guy in the roster? What's he going to bring to us? Like, how much money are we going to make from having this person in the roster? That's why previous boxing games, for the most part, they've only introduced people who they think, oh, we'll make revenue from this person. I've got fighters in our roster that have actually cost us to create, test, develop, and we've had no return in terms of having that particular person involved, right? For us, it's just a way as fans to either even help young up-and-coming fighters, to give them a platform, whether it's through marketing, whether it's through people having eyes on their character. So, I've had some of those up-and-coming fighters say to me that since their inclusion in the game, they've seen their own viewership increase. They've seen more people buy tickets to their fights.
Sweet.
So again, just for us as a studio, like Undisputed is more than just a game where you're beating someone up in the ring, right? For us, it's about supporting the community, supporting boxing. Where we're doing a lot of charity work now with boxing gyms, where we're paying for kids' boxing lessons, getting them off the streets. We've done that. We're starting to do that worldwide. We've done that here in the UK. We've done it with a gym in Boston. We're helping like Roy Jones's gym, for example. So yeah, for us, it's just a way for us to give back to the sport.
Yeah, love that. And let's talk about the studio real quick, and then we'll get out of here. But I think it's very important that people understand this ain't EA. EA's playing with millions and millions of dollars and shareholders and all those other sorts of things. This is an independent, created independent studio, and the list kind of goes on. How many employees you guys got now?
So we have 82 now.
82
which,
now.
Which is, again, it's an insane number considering like how we started and the speed of that growth.
Yeah.
Running a company with 82 staff. And we're still hiring as well. We're still hiring because like we know the game needs further polish, improvements, and about this being the foundation, right, of creating that boxing game that we've all wanted as fans. So yeah, we're just delighted with where we are right now. I think I mentioned like in the previous video that we had on our channel that we have 125,000 players playing our game every day.
Wow.
And that's just it's I guess it gives us validation that we're on the right track. It gives us validation that people are enjoying the game, and it just drives us forward as a studio to make it sustainable. Even going down to the simple things of giving people employment, like it's just for us as a studio. It's a great thing to be part of.
I love that. I love everything about this interview. This will be the last one, and hopefully this will be something that will motivate everybody that's watching and listening. This is part of who I am and what I do. So hopefully somebody pulls something from this. You started creating the game in 2020 during the pandemic. You are a gamer and love boxing, and we should make this game. That's the vision, right? And you've seen your vision come to life. What's the vision now?
So the vision now really is building on what we've started, right? Where like this isn't the end game as far as like we've made Undisputed and hey, we're done, that's it. So for us it's really about building out the franchise. We have fighters signed on long-term exclusivities for Undisputed as a franchise. And we've had the likes of Todd Grisham, Jose De La Cruz, Igis, Clemas really helping us in the background, kind of making sure that we are building out the franchise. So whether that's signing more fighters, big improvements to the game, And yeah, this is a franchise that's here to stay. And for us, like as far as the vision goes, you know, the boxing world, and I guess from a gaming standpoint, we've kind of merged the two together.
Yeah.
Just with our involvement in events that take place, whether it's, you know, Riyadh season events, you know, doing a partnership with DAZN. So I think for us, we're an integral part of boxing now, and that's a beautiful thing for us to see.
Yeah.
Coming from, we're making the game, and you know, we're in Kingdom Arena in Riyadh where people can play the game. You know, we're talking to DAZN, we're talking to Matchroom. So yeah, it's just a really exciting 2025.
What's been your favorite part about this whole process?
I think my favorite part is meeting you guys and
There it is.
and seeing that, you know, like whatever perception or things that we as fans have, like on the outside, you're just, for the most part, everyone's like down to earth, really cool, chill to get on with. And I think for me, because there's always that saying, right, like never meet your heroes kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And like I can honestly say I've never had a moment where it's like, oh yeah, this person, this guy isn't like, you know,
Yeah.
what isn't what I kind of thought they'd
Yeah.
be or anything like that. So as a boxing fan, like, you know, it's hard for me to keep the fanboy inside me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I'm, you know, CEO of this company, we're making this project, you know, a huge thing. But like inside of me, I'm like, oh man, you gotta ask him about this, you gotta ask him about that, ask him about this.
The first time I met you, like you were kind of like, you weren't hovering, but you were kind of like just, you were watching me. You weren't really saying much. You were watching me, and I'm like, I'm over here like, yo, that's the CEO, like that's the CEO. So I felt like we were kind of like feeling and thinking the same things. And then at one point I was like, what's going on? Like, why won't he say anything? Like you're kind of like in a fan moment.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. That's what it was, you know.
That's awesome.
And
awesome.
I think I'll always have that.
Yeah.
Have that.
Man, it's my favorite part of everything I've done. My favorite part has been making the relationships and meeting the people that I never knew were watching me, that I was watching. You know what I mean? So, Ash, thank you for the interview. I hope everybody enjoys this interview. Furthermore, take a look at everything that's going on the SCI side of things. That way you guys can get all caught up with all of the updates and everything that's going on, and let's just keep this thing moving.
And I appreciate you having me here, Shawn.
You got it, man. There it is. Talk the walk.